Good day, you're welcome to your favorite sport program on TV, 360 Sport. Today will be an interesting moment on the show because we are looking at one of the most important sporting competition across the globe, and that's the World Athletic Championship holding in Budapest, Hungary. And talking to me on this wonderful event where Nigeria is hoping to do so much exploit in this tournament is Deji Ogeyimbo, who is the country manager of Making of Champion, a brand dedicated for athletics beyond Nigeria and Africa. It's good to have you, Deji.
Thank you very much for having me on the show, Buddha.
So, a lot of people are already traveling to get to Budapest. Some are really putting down their itineraries, journalists, reporters across the globe. Some will be traveling, some are ready to give an intensive report on the 2023 World Athletic Championship. And that's the biggest event when it comes to when it comes to athletics across the globe. I would like to remind our viewers that exactly this time, around this period last year, we had our own Toby Amuson doing a world record and winning a world championship. But now we are looking at the 2023 of the same championship. The Athletic Federation of Nigeria released some names of athletes that will be representing us in several fields and on-field events. Deji, what's your overview about this list?
Well, it was comprehensive. There was really much to talk about. Knowing fully well that very few athletes has qualified or met the world athletic standard, and the ones that had met it, we had made our hopes upon winning the medal in Budapest, either pulled out injured or some don't have the required out of competition test, or in Tobi Amuson's case, she's waiting for the athletics integrity unit to make a final decision on whether she'll be able to compete in Budapest or not. So it takes a whole lot of loss out of Nigeria's potential medal. Recall last year in Eugene, we finished with 2 medals, a gold and a silver. That was from Tobi Amuson and Ese Brume in the women's 100 hurdles, as well as the women's long jump. But now it's literally in limbo. Our men's 4x1 team would have been strengthened by the appearance of Dodi Ozurike and Godson Brume, but both of them pulled out injured at the last minute, so they were replaced by home-based athletes. Same goes for the women's 4x1, which won Commonwealth Games gold medal last year, has also finished 4th in Eugene at the World Championship last year, in which they set an African record, by the way, with Tobi Amuson potentially still not confirmed and Grace Nwokocha already banned. It leaves just people, Ophelia and Rosemary Chukuma, and the team had to, or the federation had to draft in 2 youngsters, Faith Oposi as well as Justina, who competed at the Commonwealth Youth Games in Trinidad and Tobago a couple of days back. And these are still youngsters who have never been to a major championship like this. So it's a mixture of experience and youth, mostly experience from the field event, where we have the likes of Chukwuebuka Enekwechi, who is a seasoned competitor for Nigeria at major championships. We also have the likes of Shade Olatoye in the women's armor throw. In the discourse, we've got a trial of the African champion, Commonwealth Games champion Choma Onyekwere. We've got Obiageli Amechi. We've also got Ashley Anumba also in the mix. So it's a situation where Nigeria will just have to make do with what we have now. Hopes certainly should not be high. Knowing full well that this is pinnacle of world athletics events, and you have to have top athletes to guarantee the medal. So we'll just make do of what we have, and hopefully we can make something out of it.
Okay, now beyond unfortunately, is that Toby's name missing on the list is overshadowing other potential members of the contingent on that list. Beyond Toby, Ese Brume, it's one name that we will be looking forward to. She obviously is headlining this tournament. What should we be expecting? Do you think she can repeat that heroic performance she did last year? Talking about Ese Brume.
Well, for Ese, she's even more of a championship athlete compared to Toby Amusan. Because she won her first major championship medal, gold medal for Nigeria when she was just 18 years old at the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow in 2014. And since then, she's been very consistent when it comes to winning medals for Nigeria at the global stage. In fact, no athlete in Nigerian history can boast of the championship medal that that Ese Brume has. She's won double Commonwealth Game gold. She's won a medal at the World Championships. She's won an Olympic medal for Nigeria. So it's a situation where she needs to come good again. And that is how good Ese Brume is. Sadly, she's not been spectacular this year. In fact, she's not the number one jumper this year. That's how funny it is. Ritu Soro trumps her when it comes to her performance this year. She has a season best of 6.81 meters. But Ese Brume just knows how to come good when it matters most. Some of the best long jumpers this year have topped 7 meters comfortably well. The likes of Akila Smith of Jamaica, Tara Davis Woodwall of the United States. Then there is even a second Burkina Faso lady, Martha Koala, who Ese Brume beat to the African Championships, who won the African Championship last year where Ese Brume was absent. She's from Burkina Faso. She's jumped 6.94 meters this year. So it's going to be pretty difficult for Ese Brume, but you can never discount her. She's a championship athlete. She knows how to get that one important jump when it matters most. And that's all you need in major championships like this. The good thing for her is that arch nemesis, Malaika Miambo, who beat her to gold medal last year in Eugene, will be absent. So it's a chance for gold. But like I've just reiterated, she's not really wowed people this year with her performances. And hopefully she comes good in Budapest.
Okay, yeah, beyond Ese Brume, like well said, and I'm sure obviously beyond who do you think might be close to the 4th place or a bronze medal? Chukwuma, I've been doing so well. Ebuka, I've been doing so well when it comes to African region. He has won so many African championship in his field as Chukwu Ebuka. What can you say about Chukwu Ebuka, and what prospect do you think he can push in the mix of the top 3 or 4 in the world?
Oh, I'll be totally honest with you. It's going to be difficult for Chukwu Ebuka in Ekwechi. The men's shot put in the world is very stacked. And for Chukwu Ebuka, he has tried to be amongst the mix many times this year. This year so far, he's ranked number 14. That should be enough to get him into the final, which is season's best at 21 meters. But likes of Ran Cruiser, who threw a world record or extended his world record this year, has thrown 23 meters. Likes of Joe Kovacs from the United States, Tom Walsh, who's the Commonwealth Games champion, Zane Ware, even Josh Awotunde, who won bronze for the United States. I mean, he's a Nigerian, but he's competing for the United States. He won bronze. And you get the feeling that they are better competitors compared to Chukwu Ebuka and Ekwechi. Nothing to say that it's impossible entirely. This is a championship. He has the experience to go with. But judging by how I have seen him compete at the world level, from London in 2017 to Doha in 2019 to Eugene last year, where he couldn't even make the final, you just get the feeling that it's a fast stretch for him. Potentially he gets to the final, but medaling, he would literally have to do a lifetime best of nothing less than 23 meters if he's to get a medal in Budapest.
Okay, let's go back to Toby. Though we've been seeing several reports regards to whether she'll be there or not, but I know that the AIU has not listed her. Tell us, why do you think? Why I'm worried, and I'm sure this report coming from other people. We know the AIU and the World Athletic body are 2 different entities. Why should a name be on the list when there's not an outcome from AIU? You probably tell us why our name was on the list, because knowing also Nigeria also omitted a name from the list. So can you explain that?
Okay, one is mainly for competitive purposes. World Athletics, I've seen their world record holder in the women's 100 hurdles, and they wanted to defend a title, which is why they put a caveat there when they listed the name in the women's hurdles, pending final approval from the AIU. So once it is confirmed before Saturday that she's allowed to run or she's cleared to run, her name remains there. Once a suspension is upheld, then she's not allowed to run. It's as simple as that. Okay. So it's better safe than sorry, where you don't put her at all and she's cleared and you cannot put her back into the list. So it's better to remove someone's name than to put her name back into it, because a bit of controversy there. That's the situation in it. So I think they just want to play it safe. And Nigerians read too many meaning into it, that she's confirmed to run, which obviously doesn't mean she's confirmed to run. That's why the caveat was put in bracket there, pending the final investigation from the Athletics Integrity Unit. So that is the situation of Tobi Amusan now. We wait with bated breath. Physically, she might have been training. She obviously is training and preparing up to defend a title. Mentally, we don't know the sort of level she'll be in when it comes to what she can do and how much it has affected her in terms of the pressure and coming out there. People would have their doubts already. Some had their doubts after the world record last year, but this kind of like reemphasizes the doubt, even if she's cleared eventually. So we saw this kind of thing with Gabby Thomas, and we also cannot completely rule out the political issues when it comes to things like this, where some people feel like they are the holders of the sport, and they should be the ones to control and decide, not necessarily decide, but control the narrative of who will become the world record holder or probably become the world champion. They don't like the underdog story, like Tobi Amusan, really, especially when you've got competing against a barrage of Americans when it comes to the world event. So it's all of these factors that Tobi Amusan is playing against. Hopefully she comes out of it unscathed. I have a gut feeling that she will. It was a big risk for World Athletics, but it might obviously be worth the risk.
You mentioned something that will probably keep a lot of people worried about the instance and belief. I think the AIU, with reports we get, is that they are really the custodian of making sure that there's not anti-doping issue. And now that we have our own Nigeria, a lot of people are sentimental about the fact that it's a political gimmick, something that a lot of people think the AIU are doing deliberately. But it's of a fact that Amusan did not missed the out of test competition, and that's the reason why this is happening. Do you believe there's more to it than just the fact that she missed the out of competition test?
So it's two situations. First of all, they set the whereabouts failures and tagged it at 3 numbers. That's because they want to, or they realize that athletes are human beings and they can't always be perfect. So you have to file in where you will be at every point in time. And after Tobi Amusan's world record, the amount of tests he went through increased. So I akin it to a lecturer telling his students at the beginning of the season that if you come late 3 times to my classes, you'll be suspended. If you come late the first time, you will still be allowed to enter. If you come late the second time, you will be allowed to enter. The third time, you'll be allowed to enter, but after that, you are suspended. So the whereabout failure doesn't mean that Tobi Amusan did not take the test. She did the test and it wasn't called doping. It is from the point of view that why did you miss it? Or why were you late to it? Are you hiding something? Are you waiting for a particular substance to your body to have cooled down before we test you? So that is why they do this random test. And athletes have always found a way of maneuvering. So to keep the integrity of the sport safe, they ensure that this rule, you don't violate it 3 times. And Tobi Amusan has missed 3 times in, let's just say, an average of, say, 12 to 15 tests she's done in the last 12 months. So that is what she's fighting against. Now, she now has to prove that either one or more of these whereabout failure tests, missing the test wasn't her fault. We had a situation with Gabby Thomas in 2021, where she missed 3 tests. She contested against them, and one of them was deemed not to be her fault, and she was unsuspended eventually. So that's what Tobi Amusan is contesting, that either one or all of these whereabout failures were not due to her fault. Emergencies happen, and they know that. So this is what they are investigating at this point in time. And they've given her that privilege to tell her that it will be done before the World Championship. And recall, it's just about 3.5 weeks now or thereabout, where she was first given this provisional suspension that she can't compete. So hopefully before Thursday, most likely we'll get the final case of Toby Amuso.
Thank you very much, Deji. We'll go on a quick break. When we come back, we're still on you, but we just want to go for this quick. So when we come back, we'll finalize on the 2023 World Athletic Championship. Don't go away. It's C360 Sports. Welcome back. This 360 Sports, we've been talking with Deji Ogoyinbo, who is the country manager of Making of Champions. Deji has been analyzing and telling us what we should expect in 2023 World Athletic Championship starting on Saturday, August 19th. So we still have Deji with us as we finalize on the program. Deji, what was said about Toby and the situation report, but if she cannot prove that it wasn't her fault that she missed out of the competition test, she's going to go for 2 years of suspension. That's the rules.
It depends on the level of cooperation, really. It could be as low as 6 months. It could be as high as 3 years. That's the time frame for it. So we see someone like Blessing Okagbare, ideally for the substance that she was found to have been taken, typical amount of years is 5 to 6 years. But because of her non-cooperation and her inability to reveal the second person, she got 11 years. Same thing with Divine. So if you cooperate, so someone like Christian Coleman, he cooperated with them and he got just 1 year banned. That was after his world title in 2019. He got banned in 2020 for about a year. So he missed the Olympics, but he came back last year. So it depends on Toby's level of cooperation. If she cannot prove that one of the whereabouts failures or all of them were not at fault, so that is where she is now. And that doubt the engraved people's mind about whether she did this world record cleanly, really. And let's not forget that this is a period of last 12 months we're looking at, so it doesn't even really count on when she broke the world record, but people don't really look at it from that perspective. And it's a sport that over the years has a storied history of athletes being banned for taking banned substances, and no matter the amount, the narrative out there is that you missed the drug test or you were caught doping, even if it's an infinite amount of banned substance that was in your body, it's still there. So people look at it from that lens, and it just kind of like brings into scrutiny every result that you would have afterwards.
I've been one of the few, and a lot of people also, that always keep tab of when are we going to hear from Rosemary, not Rosemary Chukwuma, Grace Nwokocha. I've been one of the people that have been hearing, when are we going to hear something new about Grace Nwokocha, who we know is also going through nothing final has come out of it. Is there any update and remind our viewers the situation of things regards to Grace Nwokocha?
Grace Nwokocha has been fined by the Athletic Integrity Unit. She's been suspended provisionally. I can't recall the amount of years, but she's been suspended provisionally. I think she's been given about 2 or 3 years because officially the Nigeria's gold medal at the Commonwealth Games has been stripped off. So it means she's been convicted already of the substance that she took in. So I can't get my head around whether it's 2 or 3 years now. I'd have to go to the website to confirm. But I know that she's been convicted already for taking bad substance. So
now it's obvious that we will not be having anybody in the 100 meters at the World Championship at all. We will not be having anybody in the 200 meters. I'm talking about the female right now.
There's Rosemary Chukwuma in the 100 meters. That's Favour Ofili in the 200 meters. Those are the 2 we have for now.
Okay, and to hand up for the show, if you are going to put your pen down and analyze Murder Hopeful, are we going to do better even if Toby completes? If Toby completes, we'll probably have assurance of a medal, but let's put Toby medal aside. do you think we can do better than, or do you think this contingent in this year is it up to the level of contingent last year? Just tell us what we should be expecting in regards to medal, in regards to medals.
If and when Toby competes, it's still most likely going to be Toby and Esegbunme, really. Maybe a surprise from Mutusoro, maybe a surprise from Chioma Onyekwere, but I can't see past these 3 or 4 athletes winning medals for Nigeria. The others are youngsters and they're just going to get experience. You can't obviously discount them completely. The men's 4x1 looks a bit lightweight. They've literally rejigged the team. 2 of the guys that qualified the team for the Budapest World Championship will not be there. Like I mentioned, Gotilo Brume as well as Dodi Onwuzurike. The women's 4x1 has also been depleted with the absence of Grace Nwokocha. The mixed 4x4 got to the final last year, but couldn't go past their normal levels or win a medal, and it's going to be much more difficult this year. Considering how teams have now beefed up their team, even from Africa, from a Kenyan perspective. So it's a situation where we just have to look back to Toby Amusan as well as Esegbunme potentially getting medals for.
Okay. Now, finally, as we round up the show, I want you to see. It seems that this course, the shot put, when it comes to World Championship, is nothing to write home about for Africans. I think the javelin, the shot put rather, and those ones I just mentioned now. When it comes to World Championship, I see people from Bulgaria, from the American, China. But is it something that is not meant? When are we going to get to that level, Africa as a whole, in that knowing that we also do so well with might and we have the strength and all that. That sport actually allowed me to know, and a lot of people to know, that we are not as strong as we claim to be when it comes to all these sports. That it goes just beyond the physical attribute. Tell us, perhaps if there's any African in the past that have done so well in the World Championship when it comes to that sport. Tell us why we are still lacking behind when it comes to that sport.
Well, I would assume you're talking about the throw specifically, certainly not the jumps, because we've had like some people, Mayonga and the long jump win the gold medal in London. Esegbunme, we just talked about Esegbunme.
Yeah.
In 2015, Julius Yego from Kenya was the javelin champion, but that was like a one-off. But what you look at is the technique required to execute it, not just the strength. And the East European seems to be the best when it comes to executing such techniques. So you see them from Czech Republic, from Bulgaria, from Ukraine. This East Europeans have just navigated it well enough to be able to dominate at the world level, both from the youth cadets to the senior cadets. So it's not like it's impossible, but it goes way beyond strength. It's not just pure strength alone. So, like I talked about, Julius Yego is the one exception that won gold in the men's javelin. But aside that, we've not really seen any African dominate when it comes to the throws itself. But I mean, you look at the various events that are scattered across track and field, from the short distances, that's the sprint, to the middle distance, to the long distance, to the road races, to the field events, the horizontal as well as the vertical field events. Countries or continents have their strength. That doesn't mean that you cannot complement it. I mean, we're seeing Anomayala run fast in the 100 meters. Doesn't mean that that's their strength, but they can optimize the little they have. The same way Nigeria can also optimize our long distance potential if we invest in places like Plateau or Nasarawa State. But we've just refused to do that. We focus more on the southern parts that are very predominant when it comes to the sprint events. The Americans, the Great Britain, potentially South Africa are a very cosmopolitan nation, and they seem to find their way around all of these sports integrated together. So you see them there and about in all of these events, and they can jostle and win medals there. So you look at our throws, for example, a lot of the names I mentioned, Chioma Onyekwere, Chukwuebuka Enekwechi, Shade Olatoye, Ashley Anumba, Obiageli, and Amechi, all of these girls and guys grew up in the United States. That's where you can get the best of technique. Josh Awotunde is not competing again for Nigeria. There is also Annette Achinwoke, who after she missed an OCT test, switched back to compete for the United States. They were all born and brought up in the United States. That's where you can get the best of training. We don't really have the best of training for our throws or our field events in Nigeria. And even for the sprints, you can see that most of the ones that are dominating have gone to the United States. So it's not just even the throws alone, just that we've got really special talent in the sprint that you don't really need more training for them to excel when they go to the United States.
That's all we could take, Deji. Thank you for being part of the show today, and hopefully you will be having you after the World Championship in Budapest. And if there's any update on Tobi Amosu or any of the athletes, though, we always want to have you to give your expert opinion and the truthful stance on athletics when it comes to Nigeria and the world. Thank you very much, Deji.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
That's all we could take on today's program. It's been a wonderful time to look forward to the 2023 World Athletic Championship in Budapest starting on August 19. It's been a wonderful time with Deji, giving us an analyzing situation and prospects of what should be for Nigeria. Same time next week, we'll be giving you all what you need to know in the world of sport. I'm Mudashiru Shitu. Bye for now.